Hi, long time no see around here. Um, I can say welcome back to another episode, or it's been maybe 2 months since I actually have uploaded an episode. Me talking about how I feel about March Madness, NBA, and all that stuff. Honestly, with me disappearing, school simple as that. Had to lock it for my last couple of months, just so I could be on the right track and everything. So that's the reason I was gone. Um, is what it is, honestly. Um, for a brief second, I never be like, oh, why are you talking about this 2 months later? Brief talk about March Madness, about the whole bracket, everything. People said it was kind of boring. It was supposed to be a boring bracket. I can't lie to you guys. Kempom, top 10 teams over, like, and on Kempom, the top 10 teams overall in like history on Kempom rating, the final four, all the one seeds were in there. So next year, being honest with you guys, use Kempom. Kempom is legit. They've gotten pretty much not everything correct, but they can get that top four right perfectly for you guys. Um, Basically, what you need to know about my bracket, if anyone cares, I might put on my screen on the screen somewhere. If it's not up here, it's not on your screen. Um, my big takes were I knew Florida was gonna win. I think I was kind of selling that for the longest time. I took Clemson to the Final Four. I think out of a shock pick, just so there's every year there's like bit of shock pick to go, like a five seed or higher, made it to like the Final Four for the longest time, and that didn't happen this year. So yeah, I think I sniped. I don't know who I remember I got out there to get eliminated. It might have been Houston, but I had Bama getting out against St. Mary's. I thought it was a horrible pick, but did happen. Um, yeah, but my bracket overall the okay. I won in most of my leagues, but that's just because most of the people in my league picked Duke to win. And yeah, exactly. But again, that's not what I'm talking about. I am expecting to do a transfer portal video coming anytime soon about some of the teams that are ranked in the wage early top 25. I plan on filming that sooner or later. I am gonna go on hiatus again for like a week or so. Um, yeah, just because I want to take another break. And just get everything straight before I can start uploading content again. So there might be this video and one more video I might film that might get posted before the week's over. If I don't post one before that, there's gonna be more videos coming after that week hiatus. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about that and how I was missing. Without further ado, though, we have to talk about the NBA playoffs. That's all we're really gonna talk about today. Um, that's the whole cover of the video. You got Halliburton on there. You got the top four right now. Um, did I have this Final Four happy? Absolutely not. I had, I think I had, I think I had a really boring bracket. I think I had Houston. Uh, I might have really had Houston, OKC, uh, Celtics, and then Cleveland, and I might have had OKC winning it all. As a Cavs fan, don't talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it, but we'll move on for that. What we're gonna talk about mostly is how can each of these four teams really earn their way to the finals? What's good for TV? What does the NBA want? Because I know that the NBA is not fuming, but they want the Knicks to be in that final two spot in the finals so they can get that big viewer rating. Um, really off topic, but the Eastern Conference Finals, that first game one had so many viewers. I think it was like a couple less thousand than the Super Bowl. That might be wrong. I'll check if that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. But that's insane. I think the NBA is back. The playoffs are back. The playoffs have been so entertaining this year. I'm gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about first each team's path to get to the finals. As of last night, as I'm filming this, is 2 wins for the Thunder, 0 for the Wolves, and then it's 1-0 for the Pacers right now. Game two is tonight. Um, Basically, I think I'm gonna talk about the Pacers first. I think their team's having the historic run of the year. I feel like in the playoffs they had to go first round with the Bucks, and they took it to 5. I think I had the Bucks winning, by the way, because I was like sure that the Bucks were gonna be able to get back on their feet when Dame came back. Now Dame's on injury, might not be back till like 2 more years. The Bucks are cooked. That's a whole another story to talk about, though. And they beat the Cavs in 5. Also, they've been one of the more dominant teams coming into here, having to take their games into 5. They have won every single their first. They won every first game so far of each series they've been a part of. They beat the Bucks by 19. They beat the Cavs by 9, and they beat the Knicks by 3 going into OT. It's been one of the dominant runs of the past year for them. They entered. I know they were one of the hottest teams going from the All Star break. Not that they just had a easy schedule or anything, but they were able to get the job done against a lot of these teams. Looking in the second half of the season, we can look at right here. Um, After the All Star break, they just went off. The only teams that they lost to were like Milwaukee, uh, LA, OKC, and then they lost to Orlando, but they were resting their players at that point since they already were gonna be confirmed um in the playoffs. So there's nothing else they really could have did. Um, this team really has turned it around, and every year, including myself, we doubt them. We doubt that they're gonna be able to do anything. We doubt that they could do this, they could do that. But the Pacers always show up, and they always know what to do. They've been showing up. If they do make it to the finals, it will get interesting. I mean, the Knicks fans will be mad if they get to the finals. The Pacers, like, not one person will be like, oh, I think the Pacers are going to the finals. The NBA might be iffy about them going to the finals. I'm not saying like they're gonna control who's gonna get to the finals. I'm not saying there's any like rigory or anything like in that, but you know they want the Knicks in. They 3 of the 4 teams that are in the Final Four right now are small market teams. They want to see the Knicks in the finals so they can have a big market team there. Yada yada. I would love to see 2 small market teams get in there, and the Pacers obviously needing to beat the Knicks to do that will be one of them. The other side is going to get a small market team anyway, but I feel like the Thunder have been broadcast all year anyway, just because of SGA and them being the best team in the league. So yeah, Pacers would be interesting to see. I wouldn't even be uh mad to see that. Matchups that we could talk about if the Pacers win. Pacers Timberwolves, we could talk about that. I think they could easily talk about 2 young guards in the league of Edwards and Halliburton. Be pretty interesting to talk about. Really off topic too. Mike Conley would get his homecoming technically since he's um was on Indiana for a little bit. So I think that'd be pretty interesting to see. So we'll see. And the Pacers were pretty much owning the Timberwolves in the regular season, so be interesting to see how that would go. But if it went the other way and it would be the Thunder, um, I wonder how they would like do that again. Would it be again 2 of the youngest guards in the league? You can talk about that. Pretty interesting. Um, I mean, it could be interesting if you want to talk about the FIFA World Cup. I think in 2023, where it was Team USA versus Team Canada. I think, um, and it was pretty interesting. Even though Halliburton didn't play that much, I guess that could be a storyline. I don't know what you could talk about there, though. I wouldn't want that to happen because I don't think like there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, speaking of the Thunder, let's talk about them. They're the favorites to win the finals. They're the favorite to everything at this point. Shea won MVP like 2 days ago, and again, I probably make a whole video on that too. Did he deserve to win or didn't he deserve to win? The stats don't say so, but maybe he did at the end of the day. We'll see when we get to that video. That'll come in a couple of days, maybe or weeks. Um, Again, the Thunder have had, I think, the most dominant run in a while. They've only lost 14 games. And the 14 games that they lost, mind you, they were. I don't think they were. I think they were pretty so close games. Like they lost to Denver by 2, lost to Golden State by maybe 11 or so. Dallas by 2, San Antonio by 6, Milwaukee by 16, but and Houston by like 3 or so. Lost to Cleveland at one point. Lost to Dallas. They've lost to Dallas a lot this year. But in all honesty, reminder, this was a team that had no big for the longest time, and Shea was the tallest player of the team. They had no Hartenstein. They had no, who else did they not have? They didn't have Hartenstein. They didn't have Chet for a little bit because he got hurt too. They had no centers whatsoever on their team. It was honestly amazing to see that they were able to do so good with them having that many injuries. Um. Anyways, their team is set. If they lose this year, the window is still wide open for them to win next year and the year after that. I think people forget that Nikola Topic, who's injured, will be part of the team next year. He is a secret weapon that no one really expects until next year, but he's gonna be great. And then you have all their picks that they have from their trades that they have. You know, it could have been deadly if they got one of the first round pick this year. Honestly, it would have been over for the league. Um, but they didn't get that. But they had only lost 14 games, and they blew out the Timberwolves twice so far. I mean, I would be nervous for anyone who has to go their way. I wouldn't be shocked if we go to the finals and it's the Thunder versus whoever, and the Thunder just blow them out because the Eastern Conference is so weak this year. You would never know. Um, we will see though. Um, again, if the Thunder versus the Pacers, I don't know what storyline they could do with that. And the only thing I could see for Thunder versus Knicks is probably them talking about Hartenstein. Because Hartenstein was just on the Knicks. But that's the only thing I could see him talking about. That defense game from OKC would be amazing though to see. I would love to see how Caruso will play, how Hartenstein plays against his old team. Be pretty interesting to see. Thunder own them 2-0 though right now, so I don't know. Shea put up 39 I think against them before, so be interesting to see. Um yeah, I'll be really interested to see Thunder and Knicks. I don't think I've talked about the Knicks yet, so we're talking about them now, and then we'll go to the Timberwolves after. So the Knicks, I think everyone like we already know sort of the Knicks. I feel like the Knicks have been, wasn't that not saying that they weren't that good, but so we have levels to the Eastern Conference. We have the Cavs and the Celtics, the top row, and then you have the Knicks on the second row. Like they're on their level, kinda, but they couldn't beat any of the good teams, which was the concern. People say they might have got lucky when they went against Boston because Tatum got hurt, and that honestly kind of secured their win after game four. Yeah, after game four, they were kind of secure at that point. Even though those first two games weren't close at, I mean, were close. That third game wasn't close at all, and they were able to sneak out. So we will never know if the Knicks were ever going to get past that game, or if the Celtics would have took them to seven and ended it there. We'll never know. But the Knicks are such a hard team to read. You've seen them this year. They could be one of the best teams in the league. They could play amazing, or they could go on really cold streaks and look horrible. So it's so hard to read a team like that. Especially, I'm gonna be honest. If you already struggle in the Eastern Conference, I want to see you go against the Thunder. It's not gonna be fun for you. I want to see you go against those types of teams because it doesn't look too good when you struggle against those teams. So, yeah, but I guess the main story is obviously Jalen Brunson and all them. Brunson's like averaging a crazy 26. Cat being on the team getting 24. Their team is so stacked. The issue is with their team, I feel like they have a couple bench guys that can do it, and then there's no one else. Like you got Mitchell Robinson, he can do it. Campaign can do it. Miles McBride can do it. Those are the three that could do it. I couldn't name one other person for a team that could do it. I'm sorry, like their bench is not stacked compared to the Pacers, who can have people go off any night. I feel they have guys like Mander and McConnell, Toppin can always go off. And the Knicks just don't have that. I don't feel like they can. They might be able to. Like I feel like you know Robinson, he can go like any one of those guys can go off, where they're all quiet. That's what happened last game for them. No one on that bench was able to go crazy. It was a Cat and Brunson performance, and it wasn't enough because all the Pacers stars played really good, and that's what they're known for. So it's really hard to contain that. The Knicks, they gotta find a way to hold on to leads. This year there's been a problem with people holding on to leads. I don't know what the deal is. Figure it out, guys. That's why the plus has been so good because teams can hold on to 20-point leads for a quarter. It's kind of concerning. But yeah, I guess when you shoot the three ball so often now, if teams get like if Nesmith gets hot and he can just make all those threes, boom, you're right back in it. So yeah, you never know at this point what they can do. Obviously, I think the NBA wants the Knicks to move on. Again, I'm not saying there's rigging or whatsoever, but I know a lot of my friends have told me there's so many no calls for the Knicks, like yada yada. Why is that? I'm not saying there's rigging, but they're always followed. They're just because they're a big market team and all that. Like I don't know, maybe figure it out. I don't think it's that serious, team. But if the Knicks do make it, I have to see Knicks versus Timberwolves. I think that's the series everyone wants. I unless you hate the Knicks or you hate the Timberwolves, that's what I want. Such good television, bro. Talk about the trade. Talk about Cat coming back to Minnesota. Um, you could talk about who will win this trade. This literally determines who wins the trade. Talk about Randall. Talk about DiVincenzo with his Villanova buddies. Like, there's so much you could talk about. It would be chef's kiss. I would love to see that happen, but we might not get it. We honestly might not get it, and it would be really unfortunate to see that. But who knows? Maybe they possibly do get there. And we're gonna talk about the dark horse. I feel like not the dark horse. Technically, the dark horse is the Pacers, but the dark horse, if they were able to make it to the finals, and it's the Timberwolves, who kind of snuck their way into getting into the final four here. They got dealt with pretty. I don't want to be the person, but they got dealt with easy matchups. They got dealt with the Lakers and the Warriors. Now, I will be honest. I took Lakers. I actually did take Lakers a five, but um, it was actually Timberwolves a five, and it was also the Timberwolves a five against the Warriors also. But also, Steph went down. They had no answers for that after them. After Steph got hurt, and the Lakers had no answer because they have no center, not a good center at all. So that's something they need to fix in free agency. Definitely, the Lakers need to fix that. Um, However, the Timberwolves have looked really different since playing the Thunder, and I don't want to be that person, but their turnover ratio is horrible. And I don't know what the deal is. I want them to do good, but shoot, you have to hold on to the ball, bro. It's hard to watch when you can't hold on to the ball whatsoever. And the Ant can't do it all himself. It's like Ant averages 27 a game about, and the next best guy that can is maybe Randall. And if Randall has a bad night like he did last night, their team's cooked because he went like two for something last week, yesterday. It's not gonna do it. And then you have guys like Nas Reed, who still, yes, he's a weapon, but maybe you gotta think about maybe he should start. And you're like, that's a crazy take. Let's flash back a little bit to yesterday. Rudy Gobert got all defense second team. Still good, don't get me wrong, but he's really hasn't been good since 2022. And when you kind of shut down the league and all that stuff, he's been okay. He can get rebounds. It doesn't help you when your team's down 20 anyway, and you get a rebound, you still can't get the point. Someone had to say it, I'm sorry. But I feel like Nas needs more credit. He's played 80 of the games this year. He's that guy. He can really play when he needs to. He's always there. But I just said that. That's just me. Maybe I'm just going crazy, and he should actually he should just stay started. McDaniel's amazing at what he does in guarding Shea, but in game one he had him locked up, lost him. Game two didn't even have a chance of having lock him up. They have to figure out something when they get back to Minnesota. What are they gonna do about Shea? What are they gonna do? I don't know. You gotta figure it out. But this Timberwolves team needs to lock back in on the threes. If they go cold from three, the game's over. Lock back in on guarding Shea. McDaniels can do it. He's literally shown that he could do it. Gotta get back on that, and they could win and get fix the turnovers. They could win and get to the finals. Whoever's in the finals between these four teams, it's going to be exciting to see. I don't care who it is. We're gonna have one heck of a finals no matter what. I don't mind whoever makes it. Um, if you have any predictions, who do you think's gonna be the final two? I think it's going to be I think it's gonna be the next Thunder. I'm gonna go really simple there. I wouldn't mind seeing Pacers Thunder. I obviously want to see Timberwolves Knicks for the trade. And yeah, we're gonna one of these guys in Brunson, Halliburton, and Shea's gonna get their first ring. That's always exciting to see new guys getting rings. Us having different champions, unlike some different leagues, like the NFL having the same champions every year. It's always unpredictable where they're gonna end up, and it's exciting to see. So I'm excited to see who wins the whole thing. Um, I think the next video is gonna be on the NBA draft lottery and kind of doing a mock draft of seeing where's everyone gonna go, what prospects do I like to get drafted, who's gonna be a sleeper pick. We can talk about that next, or I might talk about the transfer portal, or both. I might make two videos. We will see. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.